All right, welcome back. This is the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. Thanks for everybody who's jumping on here live. I apologize, the time got kind of mixed up. I'm in the process of making the game day food and everything like that, so I had to push it back. And also got my Indians on game 5 today. But wanted to jump on, talk a little college football with you guys. It'll be a pretty quick show here today. Duke had some stuff going on, I guess, and so he isn't going to be able to hop on with us, at least not at this time, maybe here in a little bit. But first things first, how about the Tribe, baby? How about them Indians going up 5-1 in the bottom of the 5th there? Lane Thomas with the grand slam home run off of Tarek Skubal really got things popping for you here. As well as we got, the dual screens going here, got lots of games on. Want to jump into it here. Obviously, big game last night. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but Utah going into Tempe, Arizona, and they come away with a loss. The Arizona Sun Devils pull off an upset of them here. 27-19 was just a really incredible upset. I mean, it was really a cool moment. I do have, let me see if I can get it here. I do have Kenny Dillingham, the head coach of the Arizona Sun Devils, and I will put that on for you here in a second. But he's an alum. Went to Arizona State, graduated from there. Really, just really cool story. I love Arizona State. I've been out to Tempe a couple times when Ohio State played in Fiesta Bowls and things like that out there, or when Florida played Ohio State in the national championship game. I was out there. My older brother, not my oldest brother, but my other brother, Colin, he went to Arizona State. So he took me around campus and showed me here. But here is the post-game celebration by the Arizona State students and everybody rushing the field. And then what Kenny Dillingham had to say afterwards. It was just a really cool moment. And so I wanted to throw that up here for everybody to see. Let me get it full screen for you here.
Arizona State knocks.
Oh, we got some streaming issues here, it seems. Probably
off number 16.
Just really cool moment. I mean, what a moment for that coach, right? I mean, just to go out there, get the win like that at his alma mater, grew up in Arizona, and just you could just tell he loves that program. He loves that moment and everything like that. Played a really good game. Scatterbo is just ridiculous. The running back for Arizona State ran for 156 and 2 touchdowns. Cam Rising looked okay. I mean, he looked all right, not spectacular. He was not very efficient with the ball. 16-37, threw 3 picks, was really careless. He's been hurt so much in his career. I don't know how you could ever really trust him to get back to what he once was and be the quarterback for this team. But that throws a huge wrench into the playoff picture. A lot of people had Utah being picked as the representative out of the Big 12. Now, Arizona State 5-1, and really, you look at their schedule coming up. It's going to be an interesting little run here. They had that loss to Texas Tech. Other than that, they have Oklahoma State next week, or actually in 2 weeks, or Cincinnati next week, and then in 2 weeks after that, Oklahoma State, then UCF, Kansas State, BYU, Arizona. I mean, they got some tough games coming up here with Kansas State, BYU, and things like that. But I mean, who knows? Who knows what they can do? If they can run the ball efficiently like they did last night, hold on to the ball, force turnovers, that defense was playing really opportunistic football. I mean, that was a fun game to watch. It was a late game, didn't kick off till about 10:30, 10:40 at night in Eastern time zone. And so it was a 2 a.m.er for me last night. So I've been recovering from that all night, but really cool to see that. Really, shakes things up in the Big 12. And then getting to some of the games today, already we have a lot of games underway. The noon kicks haven't been all that exciting, other than Alabama in another dogfight. 20-19. They have the ball on the South Carolina 40 right now. They were losing, and then Milroe threw a pick, and South Carolina turned it over right back to them. really interesting. I mean, Alabama's defense has not been impressive the past 2 weeks. They really haven't, been that true Alabama defense that people are so used to seeing. Started out with two rushing touchdowns for Bama, 14-0 early in the second quarter, and thought that was pretty much, this was going to go how I thought it would go. But South Carolina really buckled down and came back, and so we'll see here. Just over 3 minutes to play. It's a third down here, and it looks like Alabama is pushing into field goal range, maybe not quite yet, but huge third down for them here. They need to convert this and get their get back. They had a rough loss last week, obviously, to Vanderbilt. It's been well established, well talked about on this channel and every other channel across America. But Jalen Milroe, I don't know if he's still up for Heisman. That's for sure. Come on over in the chat, everybody watching on Twitter, YouTube, get in the chat, interact with me. If you have questions, thoughts, comments, anything like that, throw them up in the chat. I'll put them up. We can talk about it. If there's anything specific you guys are watching for today. My question to everybody watching is, you got a lot of games today. What's the game you're most looking forward to? What's the game that you have the most eyeballs on, or the most money on, or whatever it is that you're into? But yeah, so Bama looks like they might be able to escape. It's just over 2 minutes to go. They got a first down. Looks like it's going to go Bama's way there. Missouri taking care of business against Massachusetts, up 45-3. Iowa, this one's shocking for me. And Michigan fans, tell me how you feel about this one. Iowa's up 37-10 on Washington right now. I mean, just putting it on the Huskies after the Huskies were able to upset the Wolverines last week. A really interesting game there. Iowa's offense really exploding out there. And then Iowa's defense doing what Iowa's defense does. They're holding them to 10 points so far. Wisconsin up 35-7 over Rutgers. Nothing too shocking there. I mean, I thought Rutgers would be better than they've shown this year, but nothing too crazy there. Got Clemson up big on Wake Forest, 49-14. I know that one was a little different early. I believe Wake Forest took a 14-0 lead. Double check that, but I believe they took a 7-0 lead, and then Clemson in the second quarter was able to get it going and come back and really do what was expected of them. Georgia Tech is up 34-24 on North Carolina right now. The Ramblin' Wreck really just doing their job, doing what they need to do to take care of business and keep things moving. Talked about Toledo and Buffalo on Group of Five Friday last night. Buffalo up big, 30-7, absolutely putting it on the Rockets. I thought Toledo was going to have a much better game plan coming into this one. I did not expect Buffalo to really put it on them like this. I believe the spread was Toledo minus 10.5. Yeah. And I believe I did say that, Buffalo had been better than what their record showed. But it looks like Buffalo is going to come away with that one. Toledo did just score and go for 2. So it's 30-15 now. But it's still not looking real good for the old Rockets out there in Toledo. Army absolutely destroying UAB 44-3. No shocker there. Pretty sure I had that one. I believe that's Trent Dilfer's UAB program, and they are in some trouble if they don't get things right. And I think Trent Dilfer himself might be on his way out here. And update in the Guardians game here, or Indians. I hate calling them the Guardians, but it looks like Detroit just hit a single, scored a run, so it's 5-2 now. Guys on first and third, 2 outs. So keeping an eye on that for all you baseball fans out there. Indians that aren't out of the woods yet. They still got to get a couple more innings of outs here with their 5-2 win or 5-2 lead right now. And then let's see here. What else we got going on here? That's about it for the noon games. Watching that Alabama game closely, jumping into some of the 3:30 games. Obviously, we talked about Notre Dame Stanford last night on the preview show. If you want to go back and watch that, it's at the end of the show, last like 15 minutes. We broke that down. Big game for Notre Dame to keep pushing towards their playoff hopefuls. I know that we believe that Daniels, the quarterback for Stanford, Ashton Daniels, will be back after missing last week's game. Notre Dame is missing a couple pieces on defense, Boubacar Traore specifically, but he's done for the year, so that's not a shock. We've known that for at least a couple days now. So we'll see. That one kicks off at 3:30. You got Notre Dame right now is favored by, I believe it's 22.5. And so, yeah, 22.5 still. So that line has not moved since last night when we talked about it. I like Notre Dame to cover in this one. I think they're going to go out and you're going to see Notre Dame's defense really shut down this pedestrian Stanford offense and hopefully put the clamps on them. I've been hearing all week that Riley Leonard and the Irish have been focused on improving that passing game. So Bo Collins and the wide receivers need to get more separation and really open up that pass game for us and see what Notre Dame can be if they actually unlock that offense. That's really what we're here for. So hopefully we'll see that here soon. You got Penn State USC at 3:30 as well. I don't know. This one's interesting to me. Penn State favored by 3.5 going out to LA to take on the Trojans of Southern California. This one just screams upset alert. I mean, USC has been down. They lost to a bad Minnesota team. They lost to Michigan, who I think is a pretty bad team as well. So everything points to Penn State's the better team. Penn State should win. I just don't trust James Franklin, and I don't trust Lincoln Riley. So I guess if I don't trust both coaches, I'm going to go with the home team, especially when it's such a far distance traveled. I think Penn State probably has the talent with Singletary and that running back room, and then their defense has been pretty good so far this year. So I would like to see Penn State get this done. That would be a big win for that program to really take the next step and get ready for that November matchup with Ohio State in a few weeks. Also at 3:30, we have Texas and Oklahoma, big rivalry game, the Red River Shootout, as it's called. I prefer, if you want to call it the Red River rivalry, I guess that is okay too. But we got Texas minus 17 in this one. If you're betting the spread here, I like Oklahoma plus 17. I don't think Oklahoma has the talent, especially with the injuries at wide receiver and everything like that. I don't think they have the talent to get it done and win the game. But I do think, given that it's a rivalry, they will keep it closer than anticipated. Just a fun game. That's always one of my most fun games to watch, is that Red River rivalry. Got Cal and Pitt minus 3.5. I think Cal might be able to get this one done. Obviously they got to travel all the way to Pittsburgh, so it's going to be a little bit different for them. But Pitt favored 3.5. I think Cal has a chance in this one, especially after a good showing last week against Miami. I think they're riding kind of high. And then we got Purdue, Illinois minus 22.5. Purdue is just garbage, just absolute garbage. Notre Dame fans saw it firsthand in that 66-3 victory a few weeks ago. I don't know if Illinois covers 22.5. That's a big number for anybody to cover, but Illinois wins big. And then moving on to some of the other notable games here, and then we'll get you out of here. Hopefully the Tribe can get out of this inning. Still 2 outs, bases loaded. Kerry Carpenter up at the plate. Not what you want. That guy's a good hitter. He can't run today. I don't know if you saw him on his long single that scored the Tigers' first run, but dude cannot run today. And then 7 o'clock tonight, we got some big ones in the night window. We got Florida and Tennessee, 7 p.m. on ESPN. Tennessee is favored by 14.5. If Duke were here, he would tell you to take the Gators. Don't trust it. Tennessee is going to dog walk this team and send Billy Napier to the guillotine. It's going to be the end of Billy Napier in Florida. Tennessee, big. They put Florida back in their place and let Florida know you're still only a 5-win team this year. Sorry about it. You're about to hit that stretch of teams I told you about, where if you don't win some of those early games, you're going to struggle to get to 6 wins and be bowl eligible. And I think that starts today. Nico Amalala is going to probably put up a show. Just go out there, really let it loose. And I look to see Tennessee win big in this one. That's one that I like. A couple others here. Obviously, Ohio State, Oregon. I haven't talked about Ohio State, Oregon extensively on this program this week. I left that kind of to Duke and Richie earlier in the week, but this game's going to be a fun game, man. This is a heavyweight matchup between obviously number 2, number 3 in the country out at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon, 7:30 p.m. on the Peacock and NBC. And the Indians get out of it. They get a strikeout, so we're headed to the bottom of the 6th, 5-2. But it's a big game, man. I mean, they had game day out there this morning, 6:30 a.m. or 6 a.m. out there. Pat McAfee's getting the crowd going. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch this one. I think when you look at it, it's going to come down to who wins in the trenches. I think Oregon's defensive line is good. Ohio State's offensive line has been good so far. If what's his name? Bush, I forget the defensive end's name for Oregon. I believe he's questionable. If he's out, that's a major loss for Oregon. But it does kind of remind you of when Kayvon Thibodeau was out for the Ohio State-Oregon game when Oregon came into the horseshoe and Kerry Combs couldn't stop that offense and gave up 1,000,000 yards. But I think Ohio State has an edge in this one just in pure talent. I think Dylan Gabriel is a little bit better quarterback than Will Howard. Maybe. I think they're pretty similar guys, both explosive athletes with their legs, both can move around, make plays. Oregon loves to throw the quick game. They love short passes. They love the RPOs. They like to get the ball out of Dylan's hand quick. I think if this secondary of Ohio State is what everybody cranks it up to be, and it is, one of the best secondaries in college football, I think you have to tighten up. I think you have to play some tight press man coverage. Let those safeties sit back in a 2 deep. As long as you're front 6, front 7 with the defensive line and linebackers, Cody Simon, Sonny Styles, sorry. Sonny Styles and Cody Simon and Arvell Reese can keep that running game in check with some help from, Caleb Downs and Lathan Ransom in the run game. If you're able to sit back with your safeties kind of back, play a little bit of a two deep shell coverage with press man underneath, keep some of those underneath throws from happening, you're really going to put Dylan Gabriel in a spot where he's going to have to prove to you that he can hit some of those deep shots, that he can make some of those down the field throws that he hasn't had to make yet this year. So I think ultimately this game's going to be a fun heavyweight battle. Ohio State's going to try to establish the run. Oregon's going to try to establish the run to get Ohio State out of that 2 deep shell. And I think ultimately, Ohio State just has a little more firepower. Oregon really struggled stopping the run against Boise State. Outside of that, they've been able to stop the run pretty effectively, but against who? And so I think Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson are just as much the back that Ashton Genty is. So I like Ohio State in this one just because of the depth of talent on that team. And Oregon's secondary is no joke. They've played really well so far this year, but they haven't experienced receivers quite like this. They're going to be dealing with Jeremiah Smith, who's an absolute freak, as well as Emeka Ibuka, Carnell Tate, Brandon Innis, all those guys who are going to be out there just really putting pressure on those corners and safeties to cover and to stay in coverage. And Will Howard's mobility gives them an opportunity to extend plays and force some blown coverages there. So that one's going to be a fun one to watch. I'll probably have that one on the main screen. And then another 7:30 kick. You have Ole Miss versus LSU down in Death Valley at night. I forget what the stat was, but LSU has not lost to a team at night in Death Valley, not named Alabama, in something like 100 years. Like not really, but like in a long time. So I think LSU has a good chance in this one. Mississippi Ole Miss is favored by 3.5 going into Death Valley, which is crazy to me. Obviously, they're rebounding from a pretty bad loss last week, and so we will see what that looks like. I like LSU at home. I hate Brian Kelly. Everybody who listens to this knows I hate Brian Kelly. I think LSU is a fraud, but I think Ole Miss is a fraud as well. So I'm going to take the home team again. Although if Jackson Dart and Lane Kiffin can get it together and get things moving, this Ole Miss team can be a pretty scary team. I mean, Kentucky was able to keep them in check, and that's why Kentucky was able to upset them a few weeks back. But other than that, they've put up points, and they've looked pretty good in almost every other game. So LSU's in for a challenge tonight. I do like that it is in Death Valley, and once again, anybody not named Alabama struggles to go out there and win in Death Valley. So give me LSU in that one. I'll take the points, though, just to be safe. Outside of that, we do have an unranked matchup, but a fun one. Kentucky versus Vanderbilt. The Mexican Manziel, Diego Pavia, coming off his high, his high of upsetting Alabama, goes into Lexington, Kentucky to face the Wildcats. Kentucky's favored by 12.5 here. I think Kentucky's the better football team. I think they've shown that more consistently this year. Obviously, Vandy has arguably the better win. I guess, Ole Miss, Alabama are kind of similar. Let's check on that Alabama game while we're talking about them. Yep, it looks like South Carolina is down 8 with the ball at the Alabama 31 with 43 seconds left. Ooh, got a chance here. Let's see what they can do. But then obviously Kentucky and Vandy, like we were talking about there. But I like Kentucky to win. I don't know if they'll win by 12.5. That offense for Kentucky struggles to put up points. Let's see anything else. Other than that, the nightcap tonight, we have 2 of them. Kansas State, Colorado. Coach Prime in Colorado, 4-1. Got a couple wins under their belt. Obviously, lost in Nebraska. This is a big challenge for them. It is in Boulder, and so it'll be a fun game for them. Kansas State's favored by 3.5. I think Kansas State's the better football team. We'll see, obviously Travis Hunter is going to roll out there and do his thing. Shadur's going to try to do his thing. I just don't know how many late game heroics they have in them to continue this magical run. And this is about the time they've gotten a little deeper in the season this time before they fell off. But, last year they had that magical run the first couple weeks and then really fell off, ended up only winning 4 games last year. Already got 4 wins this year. So they're on pace to beat that. I think Kansas State wins this one in a close one, though. I think this Colorado team's much improved from last year. Last year's defense was ass, offensive line was ass, everything was ass except Travis Hunter and Shador. This year they got a little bit better in the trenches, and with their big guys, they still have some decent skill guys. Obviously, Travis Hunter is a beast. And then out in Hawaii, we got Boise State versus Hawaii, 11 p.m. kick. Boise favored by 21. Obviously, your Heisman front runner right now, Genty, is going out there, and he's going to look to have a big day against a decent, pretty mediocre Hawaii team. The only thing to worry about there is it's still – I know they're in Boise, Idaho. I know they're out west. They aren't in Columbus, Ohio like I am, or out east. But that's still not an easy travel from Boise to Hawaii. It takes a while to get there, and there's a pretty big time difference there. So – will be interesting to see in that one. I like Boise to win. I don't know if they cover the 21, though, because I do like Hawaii at home most of the time just because of the travel aspect of things. But it looks like we are finishing up the noon games here, so I want to get out of here before Alabama or South Carolina scored. Did they? The 2-point conversion failed, though, so 27-25. And we're looking at an onside kick upcoming here. That's too bad. That is too bad. Would have been a fun one to see go to overtime. Looks like Alabama probably will walk away with this one. A close win there in Tuscaloosa today. Unless something crazy happens on the onside kick here. But other than that, everybody who's tuning in, if you're on Twitter, hop on over to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe, follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. So find us wherever you consume your content. We will be there. Join us on Twitter for live shows like this. Jump in the chat here and ask questions or give us your thoughts. If you are going to a game or watching a game, just let me know which one and we'll talk about it and give you my thoughts as well. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Just wanted to hop on here real quick. And then I'm going to get us out of here so we can watch the end of some of these noon games. Obviously it looks like that Bama game is basically over. But we do have the Cleveland Indians or Guardians, whichever you prefer, in the 7th inning, 5-2. Got Gaddis on the mound dealing before we hopefully get to Class A here in a couple innings and can close this series out. But thank you again for tuning in. Have a great rest of your Saturday. I'm going to go finish smoking up some queso and some chicken wings and some some jalapeno poppers and things like that. Get the menu going. Got to get the game day menu right, guys. So thanks again for tuning in, everybody, and I'll see you guys. If we might hop on tomorrow. Richie and I talked about doing a little NFL stuff before the games kick off at 1:00 Eastern. So either see you guys tomorrow or Monday when we get back to our regularly scheduled live shows. So thanks again, guys, and have a great day.